Welcome everybody. This is a random live stream I decided to do here, and I just wanted to say thank you. I surpassed 20,000 subscribers. Just thank everybody out there watching, and so I decided to do a impromptu live stream, maybe a little Q&A here for those that are going to join in here in the chat. So if you're in the chat, join in. You can ask me anything you want, within reason. I'll answer it. But just sitting here, out on my deck, and just sitting here, chilling a little bit. And thank you for the subscriptions. I've been watching a couple other YouTube channels that I watch that had just surpassed their 10-year mark, and they made a 10-year video. I think I might make a 15-year, because coming up, well, technically next year, January 2020, will be 15 years, right? 2006, yeah. I got an idea for a video on that, but kind of like some of your guys' input. So if you're in the chat, you can talk about that. But or if you're watching this archived, leave me a comment down below, and I'll see what I can do, if I can accommodate that. But I got an idea for this, but man, 20,000 subscribers. I mean, obviously I've been on here almost 15 years. I should actually have well over 100, you'd think, but I really didn't work on my channel like I did. If you watched and stuff, you kind of know that I've talked about that over the years. I was early adopter of YouTube, but I wasn't early in adopting on creating regular content, or even really focused content. It was purely for sharing and consuming content, but mostly sharing it with friends and family, certain things I wanted to do, and different videos and stuff, like I said, capturing some of my analog video and such. Hey, Mr. Blue Fox Racing, it's up to you. Hopefully you're getting a good feed here. Thanks for joining in. This is just a thank you live stream to all my subscribers. I just clicked over 20,000 subscribers, which isn't a lot these days in the land of sponsored content and corporate channels and things like that. But I'm one of the OGs. If you missed it, I've been on doing this since January of 2006. So we're gonna come up on 15 years I've been making content for YouTube in some way, shape, or form. Thank you for that and everything. So I got some ideas around making a 15-year. So how's 20,000 subscribers treating you? I guess pretty good. It doesn't feel much different than when I surpassed 10,000, or really even, well, it does feel different than 1,000 subscribers, I guess. I don't know. I guess how it feels, it still amazes the heck out of me that, oh, hey from Wisconsin out there, Farm H, thank you for joining in. It still amazes me that there are people who are watching. I mean, I got some viewers in right now watching. I mean, I just went live a few minutes ago, and apparently it's coming up in people's feeds and such, and people are joining in. That right there just amazes the hell out of me. Heck, I watch other people's live stream, people like me that are doing this, and so I'm sometimes one of you consuming, and I like to support other channels, smaller and larger than me. I watch a lot of large channels, like most other people do as well. So, you know, it's pretty neat. Uh, Thanks for the congrats. Yeah, I've been putting out some more content lately. That's partly why I've been getting some more subscribers. And subscribers these days on YouTube doesn't mean oh, hey, Wooden Metal. Hey, Kent. Wow. It's good to see you back. It's good to see you back. Actually, those of you out there watching, and if you're watching this archive, Wooden Metal Workshop, great, great little channel, a making channel. Um, there's a proof out there that you can do, that anybody can do this. Uh, I'm not young, and neither is he, and you can make content for the internet, and people will watch, and it's engaging, and it's honestly kind of nice to see the independents like us, uh, doing this and enjoying it, because that's what this is all about. There's a lot of bad stuff on YouTube, but I like to focus on the good stuff. And there's tons of channels out there for just about anything you're into. And I'm glad you're watching mine. So, I appreciate it. Back to the subscribers. Subscribers on YouTube don't mean what they used to mean. Back in the day, subscribers, back in the day, when you made a video, it went out to every single one of them. Now, it's all an algorithm. It's AI, artificial intelligence, whatever you call it, machine learning, that tries to decide if this what you're watching is something that you're going to want to watch again, or find other stuff. It's all about keeping you on the platform. That's for those out there who maybe don't understand exactly how this all works. So the bigger channels, I don't want to say they're gaming the system. I mean, that's the point. If you're going to make money on this platform, you need the views, you need the repeat viewers, you want people to watch the videos all the way through. So I don't, it's not a knock on any of that. It's just they do it a lot better than people like us smaller channels, and that's okay. And that's just fine. That's why 20,000 is amazing, because I don't put the effort into making the content. I mean, I do put effort into the content. I think, or I hope, that shows through. But I mean, I don't put the effort into all the other stuff that goes with it. The promotion, the trying to keep up a schedule, for that matter. I mean, I do my darndest to put out 2 videos of something a month, and of something of somewhat value. There's been times where I've put out not my best content, but it's something. I try to do 2 videos a month. That's about all I can do. I know, and it's going to come up, I know people want to see those motorcycle restorations, and believe me, I want to make more, but my gosh, I have a real job. Yeah, you're right, Wooden Metal Workshop. They have editors and videographers, and the person you see, i.e. me, is just the face. Well, like me and you, and 100 or millions, should I say, other channels, we're one person a lot of the time. Another channel I'd like to give a shout out, he's not in here watching right now, that I think is Furworks, but actually it's not his channel, but his wife's channel, that does crafting and things. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'll get to that. He's commenter says he's lucky to have phone service. Actually, that's another thing. I'm doing this on my phone right now. 2006, well, before, what? Going live, talking to somebody halfway across the world, or around the world, on a phone? No way. I mean, to young kids these days, they don't know what it was like. I mean, content, TV shows, for gearheads and makers and stuff, there wasn't much out there. Everybody, I would think, most people do know or knew of Mythbusters. That's the closest thing it got to. Or like Scrapyard War, or not Scrapyard, Junkyard Wars. I'm missing some, but there's others. But those only came around once in a blue moon kind of TV shows. You had to set your life by that stuff if you were interested in that stuff. Now, on-demand programming, you like my videos? Go back and watch my back catalog at any time when it's convenient for you, you know? And then these big channels, they're putting out the stuff they know their viewers want. And their viewers come back, their viewers comment, and their viewers drive some of the content. I mean, that's the thing. Viewers are driving the content. Whereas the studios and stuff, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but, it's the reason I don't have TV service anymore. It's the reason a lot of people don't, lucky for us, the mainstream media has mostly gotten rid of real DIY. You're right. DIY network. It's in the damn name. And it's just scripted reality garbage. Well, not all of it's garbage. I mean, it's stuff to put on in the background if you don't want to have to think, I guess. But it used to be what you and me are doing here. Literally, there was shows that they had very little. They had more production value than my stuff. I mean, they were in a TV studio, but what I mean is compared to what's put out on the Discovery Channel, it was a drop in the bucket. But it was like I remember watching videos on how to rebuild a carburetor and or tune up your lawnmower type stuff. That's the type of stuff most people are looking for. I mean, if they're they want to help themselves. Yeah, how many episodes of House Hunters can you watch? Yeah. You're right. But well, that's the thing with like a House Hunters type of show. Let's go down that road since you brought it up. If you noticed, I haven't watched it in ages, but I noticed before I kind of gave all that up is they started doing twists. It wasn't actually the early stuff was really good because they went through took from my perspective when I was buying my house. They went through the process. Now, granted, it was still heavily scripted because, granted, they got to crunch it into 30, well, not even 30 minutes, but call it a 30-minute program. I know it's not 30 minutes of exact content, but anyway, they were trying to teach. They were like, okay, and they went through the whole process. What they looked at, they actually, sat down with the realtor, and they also said, I got a loan for this. My rate was this. I put this much down if they put anything down, and stuff. And then it's like my payment was this. Like they went, very condensed, but at least gave you real world, more real world numbers and what it was like for this person to go and find this out. Now they just do a twist on this, living abroad, or living in Europe, buying a house in Europe, or Hawaii, or somewhere in the bayou, swamp living or something like that. That's probably a show they have, buying a house in the swamp, kind of thing. So I don't get it. I guess daytime TV. That used to be. Are there such things as soap operas anymore? Maybe this is the new soaps. I never home to watch soaps, but I knew they existed. But is House Hunters, is DIY and HGTV, is that the new soap opera networks? I don't know. I have no idea. Let me know in the comments. But anyway, getting back to the whole YouTube thing. Yeah, that's what I love about it. Like I said, I started purely because I was making videos and copies of VHS tapes and stuff and giving them to my friends. Say, hey, watch my stuff, kind of thing. And they probably never did. But anyway, so I had this I still have a back catalog of stuff. It's bad. Some of it's bad. Some of it's, only I could get entertained, or a couple people that are very close to me could be entertained by it. But Anyway, when I started YouTube, it was purely to upload that stuff that I had either edited on VHS or with the two VCRs, and then I had just shortly, before YouTube existed, I got my own computer for editing, and it was just a kind of a store-bought thing. But I knew what I needed and I mean, that's the thing. Technology has just gone crazy, made it the barrier for entry is so low these days, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. Well, I guess it kind of can be a bad thing because then there's a lot of crap to weed through. But you know, the good stuff rises top, I guess. But anyway, barrier to entry is so low. But before then, you had to there. I mean, there was digital video, but digital video cameras, and not ones that there wasn't flash media yet, so it was DV, but it was still on magnetic tape. So while it was ones and zeros, it was still recorded in like an analog format. So I'm getting technical here, but it was not easy to make the type of content that is out here today. The type of content that I make today, even I couldn't even and I don't know where that is. I have a. It wasn't a complete start to finish. Yeah, hell, all you need to do is have a phone. Yes, you do. Yeah, and actually, a lot of big YouTubers made a lot of their videos with just a phone, and some editing software. But even if you want the easiest stuff, you just do your phone, do a little bit of editing through an app, and there you go. But yeah, I mean, I could go through. Maybe I will kind of go through a little bit of the history, but yeah, those early days of YouTube. I mean, we could go back to the really late '80s, and talk about that. But right at the cusp of YouTube, I mean, there was not good options for cheap digital video cameras, for just the average person. Yeah, technically the GoPro was around then, but it wasn't as ubiquitous yet. Plus, the upload limit to YouTube was 100 megabytes. So the first video, which you can go back and see it, the audio is lost, and that's a long story because of Content ID and something YouTube and a choice I made because I wanted to keep it was blocked or muted. YouTube muted the video because I had copyrighted music in it. At the time, didn't understand none of that. Nobody did really, and it fit and all that jazz, and wasn't monetized, but YouTube covering their butt. They muted it, but they also gave you the option, hey, if you do this audio swap thing, here's some music you can use, and then we'll unblock it. We'll unblock the video so people can see it. I was like, well, heck yeah, it had like a couple 100,000 views by that time, which was, it went. That was one video early on that went semi-viral because it got picked up by an agricultural website, and got a bunch of views for a while, and then they got blocked. So anyway, the audio's lost on that, but you're just missing out on about 3 songs, but there was some source audio that is now lost, and the file and the tape, I think I have the original archive tape, but I don't know where it is. And that's kind of the problem, is I didn't do very good archiving either. But point being, I edited that video back in 2004. I actually did that. No, that one I did. No, wait. Yeah, no, that one I did on my roommate's computer when I was in college. It goes even back farther than that, because I didn't even have a computer. Yeah, that's right. And that file was, I want to say it was almost 3 gigabytes. I burned it to DVD. That was all I could do. I'd like a data DVD. And that's back when like a ring of data DVDs was like $50 or something for like 20 discs or something. Something ridiculous, you know. There was no flash media, and there was no cloud storage to speak of like that. Anyway, I had that sitting around, and then I also had it on VHS tape. I converted it, and then when I finally got my, yeah, that's right, and then I kind of re-edited it once I had my own computer, and then uploaded it to YouTube. That's right. That's how that went. Man, and then when I rendered that, and the file was like 1.5 gigabytes or something, because I compressed it even. Used some sort of compression. I read about it online or something, I don't know. But it compressed by about half, but still 100 megabytes so I had to, I think I rendered it into like QuickTime or something. Was the only format that I could figure out. And YouTube, of course, that was one they supported then. That got it just under 100 megabytes. I think it was like 98 megabytes down from. So you can, now granted, YouTube was 480p. There's no HD yet, no such thing. You didn't even know, you know, for online video, it wasn't even hardly being thought of, because, I mean, I'm sure tech people were, but I mean, as in the public consciousness, it was like, no way. I mean, monitors weren't even that. So it was 480p, or 240 maybe, 480 maybe. So even compressed, it didn't look horrible. It looked, other than being a bit washed out, because that's just how that works when you do that transfer. It looked just fine. Now it looks horrible because the encoding has all changed. So it's blocky, and I mean, arguably you could say it's almost unwatchable. It's watchable for people who are dedicated to watching and to wanting to see it, and so you can kind of see the history. But like I said, even the camera I'm using now, not this one, this is my phone, which this is the cheapest Samsung model you can get, and it's already 2.5 years old or 3 years old now, so it's not even that great. As you can see, the sun's going down out here, so quality's probably dipping. But anyway, point being is I'm using a 5-year-old like camcorder type video for my videos. And that's another thing with the 20,000 subs. Some of the ad revenue and stuff has been, and I've been saving my pennies. I bought a new editing rig. I talked about that in another video. But I'm saving my pennies, and soon I'll be able to blow it all on well, it'll be next gen for me, but it'll even be probably 2-year-old technology technically. I mean, it'll be a brand new camera, but what I mean is it'll be a kind of almost last year model type camera, at least if it's the one I think I want to get. And then I'll be in. I don't know if I'm actually going to shoot in 4K, but it'll have the ability to. But I'll probably just shoot, because I can't even shoot in full 1080. I am. Well, wait a minute. No, I am 1080, but I'm not full HD because I'm like 1440 by 1080 rather than 1920. So this, and the sensor will be better. It'll just be a better camera. And hopefully the quality will come in. It'll have better lenses and better adjustments for the white balance and stuff. I know that's something that's been nagging me. I do have to do some color correction with my videos and stuff, and sometimes I don't do it, and it's kind of noticeable. But yeah, so like I said, this live stream is just, if you're just popping in here, is to celebrate 20,000. You love the T5 and T5i. Is that Canon? Because I think I'm going to get the T6i, is what I'm or no. I'm going to get a mirrorless. I'm sorry. I have it written down and said, see, I'm not that techie with this stuff. I mean, it's the Canon M50 is I think what I'm going to get. I believe it's Canon, yeah. But I did look at the T6i. That's why I have that number in my head. But I decided I want a mirrorless. And then I think it'll come. I'll buy the kit lens, which is a what 40, 55, 100 or something like that. You know, see, I'm not even that up on lenses. I know general. I know general things about lenses and stuff. So there's gonna be a learning curve with this, but it. I gotta have something that has an external mic input because I don't use a standalone sound recorder. That's something I want to get into too, but it's just easier if I can just record in the camera. I've invested in some half decent cheap mics. Oh yeah, my T-shirt. Yeah, about that. Yeah, yeah. I can explain it for you, but I can't understand it for you. You know, and honestly, I think that's a lot fitting for. Well, I don't know if I want to say my channel, but a couple of my videos on my channel. Namely some of my carburetor videos, because unless I'm missing some minor detail, everything is in those videos to more or less teach yourself how to figure out what your problem is and correct it. It's just I can't. I'm gonna get sidetracked. I always do that when you bring up something good and then it gets me off topic, which is fine. That's what this is for, just free-forming it here. But anyway, it's like with the carburetor stuff. People, I think it's just they don't understand certain physics, just physics in general. So that's why maybe I am speaking a little bit over their head in some respect. And I think that's where people are missing the point. That's where the disconnect is. Not they're missing anything, but they lack maybe a basic fundamental thing about how basic thermodynamics works and pressures and things. It's because they went to public schools. Hell, I went to public schools. Yeah, that's a joke. I get it. It's a joke, but no, I think I don't. You can't 100% lay it there. I think it's just people. If you're not interested in it, you're not gonna investigate it. You know, I mean, it's not like those people are stupid or anything. It's just if you're not, you know, some people don't have the curiosity, I guess, and that's fine. I've tried to make other videos that sort of address some of that part, but see, they're you know, YouTube doesn't always recommend them together, so you don't always find them. Yeah, wood and metal. And thanks for joining in, Rodney Harris. I forgot to give you a shout out there. Hey, actually, I always forget this part, which every YouTuber is like, oh, subscribe, like the video, support during super chat. Yeah, hit that little $sign. Yeah, you'll feel good. Yeah. So I forgot about that. I'm supposed to do, I guess as a YouTuber, you're supposed to do that at the beginning of every video. I always forget. Oh, that's right. I also have a merch store. You can buy t-shirts. I don't have this one up there, I guess. Maybe I should. But no, you can buy branded merchandise. So if you're into that thing, it supports me. I make a couple bucks off each t-shirt. And literally a couple bucks. You can support during Super Chat. Donate as little as $1. Helps me get that new camera if you want. But you never have to do that. Just viewing and subscribing helps me. So I thank you for that. Now that spiel's all out of the way. You reminded me of that. I don't know why. But yeah, the whole public school thing. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are there's good public schools out there. And honestly, schooling in general, I don't care if you go public, private, whatever, it is what you make of it. Because even if you go to private school, you can still piss away your education. Because it's just, not to get off on topic like this, is, you know, with private institutions, or where you're paying for public school because through your taxes. But, okay, forget about that part of it. You know, public school is free, okay, with air quotes. All right, private school, you have to make a choice to spend your money, where to spend your money. All right, and that's why people give more shit when they go to private school. um, is they you know, since they're paying for it, they care a little bit more, or they push their kids a little bit more, push their kids to be more curious and stuff. Just like when you go to college, and most of us had to pay for it themselves through loans or something, or working through however you did it. Even if you had parents that helped you out, and there's no knock on that either, you know that money came from someone you knew, you know, not just the public, you know, okay, the faceless public, okay. I think that's why is why generally private schools are regarded as better, and people coming out of them are generally smarter because they have a reason to care, because their money is invested in it, you know. But anyway, oh hey Furworks, if you're just joining in, I gave you a shout out earlier for what you're doing on the Experiments in Crafting channel. We were talking about some small YouTubers, big YouTubers, and technology and cameras and all that kind of kit, and how you grow a little bit. Not giving away any tips necessarily, because I'm the worst one to ask about it. But I was giving a shout out because I'm really inspired by what you're doing with that channel and how you're doing it, I guess. So I was giving a shout out there, so hopefully people go check out not only your channel but the your wife's channel, Experiments in Crafting, because man, live streams are just amazing. Quality, I mean quality all the way around. Production values, the 2 camera setup that you do sometimes, and just the way she, the on-screen, her presentation is very good. And then you behind the camera, definitely, it is inspiring. It's inspiring for me to do a better job with my stuff. Which, speaking of which, I just released oh man, a project I've been working on too long. I've been working on it a long time because it's just been too there's too many things going on in life is why it's taken this long. But it's a 28-minute long video, but I'm pretty proud. I'm proud of the product that I produced. The video itself, I feel, is one of my better ones. I mean, it doesn't deviate too much from my style, but I feel I got the shots well, and other things, and it takes you through the process, and you see some of the problem solving, I think. But also, I'm very proud of the product, the actual restoration in there. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I'm sure you guys have that are in here, because you get the notifications. And if you haven't, it's only been a couple days, you probably haven't had time to watch something that long. But I hope you like it. I think you'll like it. You know, let me know, kind of thing. But and that this was just coming, that video got released on the cusp of this getting to 20,000, and I ticked over it really actually a couple hours ago, and I wanted to take some time to just do this live stream, just shout out to everybody and just chit chat a little bit, and it's fun. I kind of like sharing my ideas and sort of my giving you bits and pieces of my history on YouTube. I should probably try and do a more comprehensive. I mean, only people like a couple of you watching here might even care, and even YouTube might not care that much to watch a video about my journey of making videos and wanting to make videos, and why I make videos, about what I make videos on and stuff. You know, it's kind of all meta, to be honest. But I thought about making a real audio biography. I've kind of done one in the past, but not like with my motorcycle riding and stuff. But about this journey on YouTube, and honestly, I'm really thinking a little more seriously about it, because I just watched a video from Clint Basinger. I don't know if I'm saying his last name. LGR, Lazy Game Reviews. Yeah, I watch that kind of stuff, as well as I do mechanical and making stuff. I'm all over the place on YouTube. I actually don't watch the mainstream stuff. Imagine that. But anyway, uh, and do it with a video timeline and voiceover. Well, see, that's kind of the idea I sort of had. Um, anyway, back to my point here. LGR, Lazy Game Reviews, he just did his 10-year video, like just, wow, man, I'm 10 years, and just kind of rambled in front of the camera, much like I'm doing here, only more structured. I mean, you could tell he had an outline going, which is what you should do when you make a video like that. And he was kind of going through, and I kind of thought, well, I'm going to be coming up on 15 years in January, when January rolls around, right after the new year. It'll be 15 years. So I'm thinking about it. I probably better get working on it now, otherwise I won't get done. But I just need to. I need to work through what would be a good idea, what would be something. But like I said, it's only gonna get. It'll get under 100 views because it's just not. It's kind of funny. I'll come trail back around to it, but I did make a little while back. Well, actually, for 10,000 subscribers, my 10,000 subscriber video was what I call a short film. Was one, and I call it a short film because it's something where I set out to make something goofy, try some tricks. I mean, kind of acting, sort of, really bad, but kind of a. And arguably, it could be a little bit of a mockumentary. It's almost like a mockumentary kind of my run to 10,000 subscribers. So if you haven't seen that, maybe go back to that. And since doing it on this phone, I wasn't able to link to things. So maybe later when I get to a computer, I'll edit the description and put a link to that. But if you hadn't watched that, I know some of you may have watched that. It's got a lot of in-jokes for a few people that are close to me that know me. So that's why it may not come across as that funny. It might be more cringy than anything. But I don't know. I had a hell of a time, fun time making it. Heck of a time making it. I made it for me, not anybody else. So if anybody got some enjoyment out of it. DDTX, what's up, Junkman? Have a good 4th? I did. I had a good 4th. Just got a couple of projects done that aren't stuff that YouTube related. Actually, I could. You guys want to see a couple projects that I did that won't end up on YouTube or my website or anything? Let me know. Let me know in the chat there if you want to see them, because I could just flip the camera around and show them. And I don't know, nothing's super special, but they'd be super special for you guys. Okay, I got one person saying sure. I'll do it if I get another bid. Top secret projects? I wouldn't say they're that top secret. All right, guys. You guys are talking me into it. Okay. Bear with me because I gotta flip the camera around. It's gonna probably. All right. You're looking at a table. Okay. All right. Looking at my deck of my gazebo here. Yes, I have a kid, so yeah. Okay. I will show you. Well, the one that's right here. I'll flip the camera up. Okay. This project is not done, but this is a little cooking station. I built a little deck off of my patio here, and this is not done, but I have my grill and flat top grill. There's kind of like a hibachi type deal. It's under that cover. Anyway, I'm gonna make a cooking station surround a little bit of countertop area, and make it so I can stand here, cook. It's a little more out of the wind and things, which there's a breeze right now, but anyway, and that flower pot would normally not be there. I gotta still put some steps down because of the path here. Here, so you guys can see two kind of a wood shed lean-to deal I made out of all reclaimed materials. This keeps the rain and the snow, mostly the snow in the wintertime, because I burn wood to heat my house. Yeah, I know it's dark out, so you know, you can't hardly see, but you know, the sheet tin and everything, that's from an old hog barn I had. And anyway, those there's that deck there. We'll get back up here. Anyway, turn the camera around here. Yeah, that's a great shot. Okay, and I'm up on a gazebo here, which I don't know. Would you guys like to see that? I mean, I have that on my. I got better pictures on the website. It's dark out, you know. So anyway, yeah. So like I said, there's a lot of those kind of non-YouTube projects. Yeah, corrugated roof. Yeah, it's just some old sheet tin. Is it 15? I think it's 16 foot long and whatnot. I can put about, let's say I can put two and a half cords of wood under there. So that's the main storage, and the wood storage, and then I have other wood storage at other places where I put the stumps and everything. Yeah, all projects are YouTube worthy. Well, right. Actually, those probably would be, but I guess I'll tell you what. If I showed that project on YouTube, well, it's built well, but it's not built right. Let's put it that way, because I had to make do with what I had, and look, it's got to do is maybe be able to support up to 2 feet of snow laying on there. But even then, 2 foot of snow wouldn't stay on there the way with the corrugated tin and whatnot. So, oh yes, for works. I was almost going to say that. I was almost going to say, you know, I don't want to put that on the internet. Well, actually, I did put this kind of gazebo thing I built. I did put on Reddit. And honestly, they were pretty good to me on this. But my God, there's the keyboard warriors just did you calculate the live load for that dead drive? I think I got that comment. I know, but that's you know, yeah. let's just put it this way. For most people, that thing's overbuilt. Most sane, common sense people, that thing's overbuilt. But for the internet, oh my God, death trap! Don't go within 10 feet of that, or you're gonna die. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. You know. But for works, you hit the nail on the head. I did put though this. You built that? Yeah. Yeah, yes, I remember that post. You know what? I mean, it's dark, but you'll be able to see it. Do you guys want to see this gazebo thing I built that I'm sitting in? You know, you're seeing light from the lights I have. I'll give you an idea. You can go to my website and see good pictures of it and the build and everything. But yeah, I got kind of I want to say lambasted. Like I said, they fairly kind to me, to be honest. Reddit was fairly kind, but there were some things that, yes, it wasn't 100%. It wasn't the code or nothing. But let me walk down the steps here. I got to turn the camera around again. Let me get in a good angle. Sorry, here. You know, I'm gonna back up. Yeah, I mean, 100% built. It's a hexagon, right? Yeah, it's a hexagon, and got a little tin roof. I used a frame from a kind of a gazebo thing, and then strengthened it with different bracing, and then I made those canvas, or well, they're made out of truck roll-up truck tarp material, like for grain trucks. So, and then the lights and everything, and you can't see it, but there's flowers and stuff all around it, and chimney. But anyway, I'll get you a little closer. You can see the deck a little. Built the stairs. You know, it's on a hill, so I'm getting it level, but it is level. And you know, I didn't do a fancy pattern. I didn't know how to do that. You know, railing. Made kind of these screen panels. Those are for sunshade. It's not enclosed. Yeah, you can't see a lot of things. But I built it here, and it's hard to see. But I got a extensive pond that this overlooks, and you can hear I got some waterfalls and stuff. I guess I could take you down there and get you a little closer. It's kind of hard. I should have done this earlier when it wasn't light out, but those two waterfalls, I got a pump that's running, I think it's 3,500 gallon per hour. Yeah, 32 or 3,500 gallon per hour. Turning over, I don't know, I think it's maybe 400, 500 gallon, 400 gallon probably. Something like that. Maybe a little less. But anyway, yeah. So there's there's other projects that I don't put on YouTube. And you know what? The reason why they don't go on YouTube is usually because when you do a project, and you guys that are watching know this, that are creating for YouTube. If you make if you're doing a project on YouTube, the project takes 2 to 3 times longer because you got to set up the camera, you got to remember to film certain aspects of it, and then, you know, then you're always thinking about, oh, do I need to do this? Or oh, I can't shoot this until I do that and stuff. So, yeah. You know, that's why some of this stuff, you guys are getting the sneak peek here. This is, I guess it's on YouTube now, though. But you didn't see me build it, I guess. Although this thing I'm sitting on is on my website. There's a pictorial and a write-up about it and everything. Like I said, and it was I did post it, I mean, this has been years ago now, over on r/DIY over on Reddit. But yeah, they're cruel. They're almost borderline cruel over there in that subreddit with deck building specifically. I mean, everything gets its turn, but that is terrible. Even with the camera person, it still takes forever to film projects. Then where you spend twice as long recording the project, so something went wrong. Yeah, I didn't see all your comment there, but yeah, you're right. For works, you know, that's why. Like these two things I just showed you that I just kind of built over the 4th, you know, spanned about 2 days worth of work, and that's, you know, I didn't like just go balls to walls on them either. You know, I wanted to relax and, you know, cook and do other things like that. I recorded a whole oil change if I fly down. Your wife never told you. Yeah. Yeah, and you know, I got a wife too that sometimes will do some filming, but you know, that takes away from her hobby. I mean, she's got a whole bunch of crafting hobbies and stuff. Actually, right now, and I think some of you guys who regularly watch, she was sewing one time when I was live streaming something. You could hear the sewing machine go in the background. But right now, she's working something up on her vinyl cutter, her Cricut actually, making something. I know she's cutting out some stencils for things. Yeah. Oh yeah, technical difficulties. Yeah, I realize your battery's dead in the microphone. Yeah, yep. Well, and that's this latest video. Part of it was just I had an issue with my memory card, you know, and then realized, you know, couldn't get it go. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not working on it tonight, you know, kind of thing. And I got a little, you know, my son, 2.5 now, rambunctious and everything. You know, I don't want to just squirrel myself in the shop, but in the garage, working on, you know, YouTube stuff. You know, a lot of the voiceover stuff, you know, I can't use the original audio because he's actually standing right next to me, watching me work on all of this and just jabbering away. I mean, he's getting a kick out of it. Loves watching me work on stuff. But of course, he's, you know, and I give him some tools, and so he's kind of banging around on stuff. So, like I said, that's why I've gravitated to the voiceover stuff, because the native audio was just him, you know, jabbing around. Especially this latest video, you know, I put some. Oh, that's nice for Works. It has multiple track recording. That'd be nice. So if your microphone's dead, at least you can get the original audio. But yeah, yeah, with my son, like this truck, I was putting LED lights in it, and you know, he's too young to really understand what those are, you know, of course, but he's just watching it go, and I says, well, I'm putting LEDs in so it can drive at night, so you can drive your truck at night. And he's like, oh, so I can see at night, you know, my truck can see at night now, you know, the whole time. So yeah, but actually the wife's looking at me out the screen door. She's like, geez, you're sitting out here live streaming. Well, hey, 20,000 subscribers. It's something to celebrate, something to get excited about. But yeah, I don't know, maybe she can't hear me because sound of the water back there, she can't always hear everything. but yeah, normally, and honestly, normally she's my moderator when I do these things, and usually I let her know. She probably got the email. Yeah. But anyway, like, going back to filming projects and stuff, you're right, both of you guys in the chat there. Is you know, wife has a YouTube channel. She started back in 2007, but she didn't really do anything with it. But you know, she's always kind of making things. That's why for your wife Maggie and experiments in crafting. That's why we enjoy watching it. Like, we try to catch those live streams if we're in a place where we can throw it up on the living room TV and watch it that way, because that's the best way to watch it. But if not, we watch either the archives or her new videos while we're eating supper and stuff. We got it on the TV, and you know, watching her yarn videos. And you know, I'm not into crocheting. My mom is, or used to, you know, kind of thing. So I know, like I said, I understand what she's talking about. You know, so, but that's why it's interesting. I can connect with it from my mom, where she's seamstress and upholstery and everything. But yeah, actually, my son, even at 2.5, actually does a decent decent with flashlight. Yeah, well, that's right, for Works. Yeah, you're probably learning a lot both ways, and she's probably, well, I can tell. Even her early videos, though, she's good on camera, you know, because she knows what she's talking about, and that really comes through. But these later ones, she's gotten even more comfortable with it. You know, I can tell, and I can tell she enjoys not only, and that's like me, and I hope it comes through in my videos, but I can tell with her, she enjoys the crocheting part and making content for the viewers that are engaged in it. She's enjoying that part of it too, the engagement, and just knowing that, you know, her words are traveling farther than the space she's in, you know. And I'm hoping that my videos kind of convey that a little bit too, because a lot of, you know, and the internet, you know, can be a cruel place. You know, it's like, oh, you should have done this. Like, you know, on this latest video, first negative comment, first and only so far, negative comment was something around, oh, when you said you were going to do a custom, I shut the video off because everything should just be original. And it's like, okay, well, that's your opinion. I mean, and it's fine to have that opinion. But this one, I chose to do a custom. It had very little, if no value, because it was so beat up. I decided, well, let's do a custom paint job. Let's do the LEDs. Let's make the little contact patch for the trailer so the LEDs automatically light up when the trailer, when you put the trailer on. All that little problem solving kind of stuff, which to me didn't seem that hard, but to other people might seem mind blown kind of thing. But anyway, point being here is, I just want to give people an idea. This is how you can do it. Like I get a few comments here and there. Oh, you should powder coat things. It's like, okay, yeah. Oh, garage. Oh, yeah, ruined classic car. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some cars you could argue are ruined, but also, I look at it. As like, well, it's mine. I'm building it from. I'm doing it for me. Not some customer. I don't do this for a living. But, if it was a customer, well, a customer would dictate what they wanted. I could differ, I may not want to do that, but if that's what they want and they're paying for it, more power to them, But I want to just show that I want to show that there can be a low barrier to entry to doing some of the stuff that I do. Because there's some other restoration channels that have popped up in the last year and a half. I'd like to say maybe I inspired a few of them. I mean, some of them do credit me, but and again, that's another thing that just blows my mind. But that's the point of what I'm trying to do here. It is inspire somebody to try to do this. Well, some of them use powder coat, doing powder coating. They got a home powder coat set up. They got like a smoker box for the oven and stuff or whatever, and that's great. And they say, well, everything should be powder coat. Well, you know what? Not everybody can, that's a little high. I mean, it's come down, just like everything else. 3D printers, whatever. The barrier to entry just keeps going lower and lower and lower. But still, that's, using a can of rattle can is down here, powder coating's still up here. Well, start here, cut your teeth here, and then build yourself up to powder coating or something like that. I mean, that's just one example here. And I don't get comments like that all the time, but like, some things you can't do with powder coating as well. But I just want to show that here's what you can do with a rattle can. You can get pretty damn good results. Now, I'm showing using my air sprayer and all that stuff, but I've used rattle can too in the past and shown that you can do a good job, and this is how you do it. But if you want to do it a different way, have at it. That's the point. The point is to inspire you to restore the thing or customize it or do whatever. Just do it, is the point. Not how I did it is the way you have to do it, I think people miss that sometimes, But anyway, yeah, going back to originality versus custom and stuff. Yeah, I mean, Jay Leno's Garage. Watch that. I'm sure a lot of people watching this, if you hear that, you've watched his videos and stuff. Jay Leno's cars, specifically his stuff he owns. As he goes through them, not everyone, actually I'd argue that none of them are 100% original. Because he upgrades things like the brakes. He makes them so you can drive the dang things. Do smart upgrades and such. So, and I can only get behind that. If getting rid of four-wheel mechanical drum brakes, I know, drum or band brakes, I know what driving cars like that is, and driving them distances, like hundreds of miles. I'll tell that story in a bit. But I know what it's like to drive cars like that. And my God, if you're going to own something, especially where it's one of 10, like some of his cars, but you can't drive them up Mulholland Drive near where he lives and stuff, what's the point of having it? Okay, go to Willwood or Brembo or whoever of these brake manufacturers, put some good brakes on it. Oh, that goofball clutch, because it's the teens and people haven't figured it out yet. And he puts adapts a regular, more diaphragm type clutch or something in there. Whatever. It makes it so you can drive the dang thing. Okay, that's my little rant about cars. Same with motorcycles, the vintage motorcycles. Even getting stuff in the 60s and 70s are just horrific to ride. Well, if you can put some more modern shocks or do some internal upgrades that make it more rideable, Oh, sure, yeah, it's not original, but if it makes it so you can ride the dang thing more often and be more comfortable with it, more power to you. You know, it's your bike, it's your car, it's your toy, it's your object. Do with it what you please. That's the point. But I think that's lost on people sometimes. You know, I don't know. Although I know some people watch those kind of videos, restoration ones, for just pure entertainment, uh, is um, it's like some of it's entertainment value, so they don't want to be taught. So that's why my videos don't speak to those people. Maybe that's part of it, because I know I get comments here and there. Oh, you talk too much. Quit talking. Just show the word. Blah 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 blah. And some of these other channels, it's literally just, it's almost creepiness. You just hear the banging and working in their hands. But you know what? It's a different way of doing it, and and they're I watch all the way through on them too, so they must be doing something right. But so it's all in what you want, you know. Like I typically gravitate to the videos no matter what the subject is, something where I can gather information I didn't know about, you know. So I like more educational type videos rather than pure entertainment. Oh, sure, I do watch entertainment stuff, obviously, but you know, uh, like I watch things like Linus Tech Tips, for example. Computer dorks, and I say that affectionately. You know. Uh, well, thanks, Scott. Thanks, Scott. Think you're doing a good job, buddy. No complaints. Thank you very much. Well, and most people do think I'm doing okay. This is the handful of one-offs. 8-bit guy, yes. Uh, uh, I find his mostly to be presto look at. Well, yeah, I still really like the 8-bit guy because I like what he's doing. I like how he's done it. Yeah, there at times he can skip over some diagnosis stuff, but I understand he has to cater to others. But you know what? I like that. Here's an old guy, balding. Uh, quit his day job, does YouTube full time, enjoys it, codes, makes new games for old systems. I'm not even remotely into vintage computers, as in using them or whatever, but I find those type of videos somewhat fascinating because I remember using them. Is probably why. So there's a little nostalgia factor there for me. But using them here and there. But most of those things I've never even seen. But they're yeah, watching them clean things. Yeah, you can tell the mechanical aptitude, like me and you have, is um, you can tell it's a little different. LGR, same deal. Just the way their hands move is a little odd. You can tell that they don't work with tools like we work with tools, but it's just a different way of working and a different skill set. But his videos are very informative. I find his history videos, like I said, uh, are well done. Just I don't know, and it's neat to see just some of the weird stuff and why it's weird, but why it's notable. What he makes you care about why this object uh, made an impact within this little segment. So I can't have too much bad to say with his videos. Oh yeah, you can nitpick some things here and there, but on the whole, I mean, it's like my stuff. I some of my videos could be a lot better. So who am I to judge? That's kind of things. But yeah, I like watching him, 8-bit guy. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, learning about the Commodore and how they work. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, he did things on calculators and all that, and it's like who would care about calculators? First computer was at Apple II. Well, yeah. Well, that's an Apple IIe was the first computer I ever touched that I can remember. I touched, and it had a green monochrome monitor. It was in the local library. But I guess technically my first computer, not counting the Atari 2600, you know, uh, my technically first computer I had, but couldn't couldn't do much with, and didn't really figure out much. I mean, I did figure a few things, but couldn't do too much with. Was a it was made by Tomy. It's called a Tomy Tutor, and apparently, I guess apparently they're kind of worth some money. They're a weird retro thing. It's I mean it's a computer in that it has a probably 6502 chip in there, I'm guessing, and maybe 16K of RAM or something. I don't know. You'd have to look it up. It had a cartridge part, but it had this crappy chiclet keyboard. But at the time, I didn't know that was crappy, I guess. um, it had a few games. It came with a manual that had a few programs you could enter in. I did that and messed around with that and figured out how to change something. Lightly taught myself. It was a version of BASIC. I couldn't tell you what, but it could do some. You could, if you were smart enough, you could do um, some light computing on it for the time. But that it was more of a toy than a real computer, to be honest, because it was designed more with kids in mind. The way it was kind of built, I could tell. But anyway, I don't even know how we picked it up. Didn't buy it new; it was used, so that's why it was already outdated by the time. Because by the time that is, I think the types of computers that were mainstream was things like, well, definitely like an IBM like not XT, but um, something that you could run Windows 1.1 on, uh, whatever that would be. I don't know. See, that's the thing. I'm not even that in. Probably somewhere around the Apple II era, or the say 2GS kind of era, maybe, or the early Macintosh, But anyway, the first like a real computer that I touched and messed with, either played games or did some very 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 light programming, was an Apple IIe, um, and I knew a friend who had an Apple IIc in their house. I know people who had like IBM compatibles of the day. Nobody. I'd never seen a Commodore until much, 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 much later. But the first kind of real, of course, the original Macintosh, uh, messed with that. That's what we used in when I learned. Well, actually, I learned keyboarding. That was a class on an electric typewriter, because they didn't have enough Macintoshes at the time. That was what most schools had, and they didn't have enough for everybody to do typing. Learn, because there was Mavis Beacon teaches typing, and that was on the original Macintosh. And so you had to rotate around. So I first they started you on electric typewriters, because at the time, this dates me, but you had to learn how to set your margins and all that on a typewriter, which is originally how some of the old printers were too. Well, but anyway, Apple II, and then first GUI type computer I used was, like I said, the Macintosh, and then later, obviously, computers were like Windows 3.1 or 3.0, and then the 3.1. Keyboarding is a good skill to have. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super great. I haven't tested myself in a while, but I in my day job, I well, who doesn't work all day on a computer of doing something? So if I do, I mean, my job isn't like database stuff, but I work in a database, and day in day out is part of what I have to do. So keyboarding and shortcuts and stuff are my and you know it's funny because the company I work for, we're growing, acquiring companies, and onboarding people, and we're getting a lot of younger people, quote unquote millennials and younger now. You know, folks in their 20s that are in their 20s. Um, it's weird. Their computer skills are some of them are suspect. You know, basic. You know, like just Windows navigation. You know, like Windows 10 or even 7, but Windows 10 because we've converted. But I mean, just the Windows operating system that is confused is kind of, well, I don't want to say they're confusing to them, but it's just like they're just not as proficient as you would think. They walk around with this thing in their hand, attached to their hand nearly, going like this all day long. But simple like Control C, Control V is like a foreign concept to them, you know. And it just, I have to realize, wait a minute, they were born at the time where that was the height, you know? And now most people don't have a PC in the home anymore. At least that's all I can figure, is they didn't grow up with a PC in the home, or if they did, they didn't use it because they had smartphones. And smartphones, I call them dumb phones because they distilled down what most people want, not need, but want to do, down to 1 or 2 taps. And if it takes more than 2 taps, it's like people don't do it. You know, it's like and share. Well, that's gonna be more than 2 taps. Well, they're not gonna do it. I don't know. I'm getting off tangent here, but it's really funny to think that these younger folks that just grow up with it are almost not. I mean, they're native to it, but then they're not. You know, so it's almost like with keyboarding. You know, we had to learn on a typewriter and the Dvorak keyboard and everything, but they don't know about. They barely know about the home row because they're going like this, so they don't know where the keys are because they're just going like this. I don't know. It's just weird, and maybe I'm a bit of a Luddite in that respect, where I can't see myself getting away from having a real computer. You know, I like the phone, but it's almost for consumption. You cannot do very, 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 very little productivity on it. You know, like I don't know. Maybe it's just the type of job I'm in. You have to have, you know, an actual computer to run the software that I work in every day, you know. So, I don't know. It's just an observation, you know. But, and this is one thing we'll say, in light of that, you know, a lot of people like to bag on, you know, especially the younger millennials, that they're lazy and all this and whatnot. I don't know. These younger ones, though, they're pretty hard working. Though they may not have this computer skills like you'd think, but they definitely want to work, and I like that. So, you know, you know, I probably shouldn't have been talking about them because this is live and archived, but they'll never see it. Honestly, it's a credit to them. You know, I like working with them, but anyway, I don't know. I guess it's getting late here. I don't know. I've been rambling for over an hour and 14 minutes, it says. So, I don't know. And you guys have been sticking with me. I don't know. Is there any other... Let's change the subject. Is there any topic you want to just start chit-chatting about? Or are you guys good? You know, I can sit here for longer. My batteries... I still got good battery, so... But if you guys don't have any ideas or any topics, or any other comments, you know. Oh, Furworks pops in here. Yeah, that's a good question. How's the new editing PC I got been working? Very good. Although I need to get with you, just because I'm lazy. Uh, I need to get with you and ask you. I need to upgrade my RAM or just get more of it. And you kind of have now. I'm on Ryzen 2 or second gen, I should say. Um, but I want to get a 16 gig kit put in there. I got 4 slots, and because I only have 8 in there, and I purposely bought it that way because I knew I'd upgrade it later. It was done on purpose to keep the price where I needed it to be and upgrade later. So I knew what I was getting into when I just stuck with 8. But and it's not about headroom, but I can tell rendering, and then if I want to multitask other stuff, the RAM usage is getting up there, so I should probably have. So Furworks, maybe DM me. I mean, you could do it in the chat here, but I won't be able to see it very easily. DM me on Discord. You know how to get a hold of me. And recommend me a 16 gig kit. I can't remember what I have in there right now. It's good what I have, but I know it's like you should buy them in a kit. You shouldn't mix and match, even if it's the same brand. You said you ran into problems with your Ryzen chip, but that was a first gen chip, right? I think they fixed some of that, right? Maybe not, but I kind of need you to recommend me something for that. Otherwise, it's great. Okay, if more than 16 is reasonable, I'd like to keep it around. I'd spend no more than $100 on the RAM. Hey Scott, thanks for joining in. Okay, see, you follow it more than I do. So if I don't know that I need 32, but I want to keep it about a bit under. I'd like to keep it under $100. So if 16 is all I can get, that 16 is going to be fine for what I do. I mean, I do run OBS on there once in a while, but I mostly stream on a different PC, which I have set up for that, and it works just fine. I mean, so I don't necessarily need it for that. I don't game, you know that. So, we don't need balls of walls. This thing, this 28-minute video in it's HD or 1440. I was rendering it at 1440 but 1080. 60i, yeah, whatever. It's the project setting. ACHV or whatever, H264, encode. What you know those specs or whatever. Anyway, I can scrub to that timeline, no jitter, no jitter. But anyway, my render times, and this is purely rendering all on the CPU actually, because I don't know. I'm with Vegas and. Let's not get into it, but I can't figure out how to try to do it on the GPO just to see if it's different or faster. But all CPU. It's a 28-minute video. It took about 20 minutes to render. That's a win in my book because my old PC or all my other PCs, it always took longer to render the video than the video was long, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So at least with the files and the stuff I'm doing with my camera, I'm not doing 4K, you know that. It's like I said, it's well surpassed what I need it to do, So working out great. I love it. It should last me at least as long as the other one did, if not maybe longer, because it's just got a little better parts in it. I mean parts, like when I mean a little more quality parts, because my other one was definitely cheaped out in certain areas. That's a long story, but I love it. It's I'm never going to overwork it. I'm not even overclocking. I probably should overclock a little bit. I need a little bit of help with that. I'm a little scared. because I did one time on an old Athlon processor back in the day, and of course I didn't know what I was doing, and I just had the stock cooler on there, and um, uh, maybe there wasn't a thermal throttling algorithm or something, whatever. I melted the chip, or well, I roasted it so it didn't. It became unstable, and then it just quit. I did something wrong back in the day. Uh, we'll talk about that later. DM me. I'd like to do just a mild, very mild overclock, just to say I'm overclocked kind of thing. 10% kind of thing, 5%, just to do something. Because I got the cooler to do it, so that's why if I leave it as is, that CPU ought to last. At least the CPU ought to last forever, because and not ever throttle, because I got more cooling there than than stock would need. So anyway, we'll talk about that later. But it's working great. Love the monitor, even though it was a cheap ass monitor. It's miles ahead of anything I've ever owned. So it's not 4K, but it's one of those curved monitors, and partly, I didn't care less, but actually I kind of like that. I'm gonna get I haven't gotten a second one, but I'm gonna get, because I miss my dual monitors, but it is a ultra wide, but it is a wide monitor. But I still want to set up the tool. I have dual monitors at work, and gotta have it for that. But I used to have always had two monitors. Whether even if they were both VGA monitors, I just having that real estate there to work with. So yeah, I don't know how we got into computers, but yeah, I like it. I would like to get using it. Yes, it is a productivity boost having two. I mean, at work I have to, but at home I can toggle. But I used to actually. Funny story. Even like I said, even getting back to the early days of YouTube and stuff, and even before YouTube, I always ran 2 or 3 monitors. Actually, my very first computer, we're going back in time again, story time with the Junkman. My first computer that I bought, and like I said, this before I knew what I knew what I didn't know. I didn't know what I truly what I needed, but I knew I needed this, and this to do what I was for capturing my analog signals. I had a Sony Vaio desktop. Back when Sony made desktop computers. Well, it was it was I bought it because it was advertised more like a media center PC. It had Windows Media Center on it, which actually was pretty cool operating system. It's XP, but it had some tweaks to it that allowed for some basically DVR capabilities. And this was back when DVRs were, TiVo was it, kind of thing, and it was a new thing. Anyway, and it had the cooler, so it had heat pipes, and the cooler was separate, a whole separate entity in this big ass massive radiator kind of block on the back, and there was like this air gap between. It was really cool looking and whisper quiet. That's what I loved about it. It was designed to be put in the living room, and there's a remote so you could do the DVR functionality from Windows Media Center and everything. But anyway, it had analog out, and I ran that to at the time I had a 19-inch CRT. It was a Sony Trinitron, actually. I had at the time 19-inch. No, it was 22-inch Trinitron. That's it. That I'd had for years. I bought that used. But anyway, I had that, and then I had a 4.3 DVI monitor, and then a VGA, So I had 3 monitors, and what I did is I had, Windows browser or whatever, timeline, trimmer over here, and then on the actual TV was the preview, because that's what I was gonna, you know, so I could, and then I had a big long cable over to the TV so I could watch, uh, YouTube over there when YouTube became a thing, but also I could watch my videos or DVDs or whatever. I could, it's mostly DVDs at the time because I didn't have a DVD player, and DVD players were still expensive, kind of expensive back then. That's why, to be honest, that's why a lot of people bought PS2s, I think, is for the DVD player part. But anyway, I digress. Um, but yeah, so I've always run multiple monitors, and even here I'd run on my large flat screen. I had a long HDMI cable to that, and then 2 monitors. So I always had at least 2, if not 3 monitors. I used to run. And that's the thing. I've been streaming. I've been wanting to stream to TV, like doing like a Chromecast or an Amazon Fire. I've been doing that since video sites existed. eBombs World, Putfile, Yo something or Blip, Blip TV, Justin TV before it changed to Twitch, so or Justin.tv, I guess it is. So I'm no stranger to this stuff, but I'm just not on the cutting edge. Never have been, So anyway, I mean, rambling here, but yeah, I've always wanted to be able to put my work on TV, So anyway, it's kind of just one of those things. I'll get to tell my son about. It's like, well, back in my day, we used to have to plug the TV into the computer to be able to watch YouTube, or whatever it'll be when he's older. If YouTube's even around. I'm sure they will be, but, we used to have to put these discs in this little tray, and more of these tapes. Well, I mean, I can go back to tapes, and I even got a Laserdisc player. I don't use it, but I only have a couple actually. But stuff like that, 8 tracks, and I got my record player. He doesn't know what it is, but he doesn't know it, but he's been listening to records with me because I've always listened to vinyl. I mean, I grew up on it from my parents, so I have their whole collection, and then stuff I kind of bought, because even then you could still get vinyl, and even though cassettes were still a thing. Record players are thinking his friends might know it again. Yeah, well, actually, there's a future. Yeah, that's one I just need to start on. I'm going to restore I hesitate to call it a console because it's more like a shelf system, I guess you could say. Hey Prim again. Gosh, I haven't seen you in a while. I guess it's early in the morning for you, but man, thanks for joining in. Man, where have you been? But anyway, I digress. One of my longtime YouTube friends just popped into the chat. Anyway, talking about the record players. Yeah, I have a. It's a GE. It's a General Electric with a Gerard. I think that's how you say it. Turntable. It's from the either late 60s or early 70s. It's not a high-end like audiophile system, but it's all wood and it's a tube. It's got a tube type amp in it, so you got to kind of let it warm up and everything. But it kind of the wood needs all refinished and stuff, and then just electronics need cleaned out. It works just fine. It's just when you turn the dials, they're a little scratchy, so those just need to be. And I thought about, and that's why I've left them scratchy, because I want to make that a YouTube project, kind of restoring, fixing it up. you know, the stylus is in pretty good shape, but I should probably replace it. And I think you can. I think I can still get. Yes, we're talking about hi-fi systems. You missed the stuff about computers and stuff because I was talking about my editing rig that I got, which actually you might not know about because you've kind of been MIA for a while. But we'll talk later. Um, but yeah, it's a should be a. I think. Well, actually, I think it should be a U. Oh yeah, Mr. Bumblebee. Okay, so you've seen that or you've seen it. Um, well, you know, Kent, this isn't like I said. I hesitate to call it a console because it's not like doesn't have. It's a. I don't have the model number. Otherwise, you could just Google it. But it's a deal where the it could either be mounted on the wall. It's designed to either be mounted on the wall or you set it on like say a buffet or a shelf. It's not a bookshelf system. The speakers are attached to it and everything, but the turntable flips down or hides away when you're not wanting to use it. It flips up. You lock the tone arm and everything. It's an automatic too, which you know audiophiles scoff at automatics, but I would not. I would not have a non-automatic turntable. I guess I like to stack up. Um, I like to stack up a bunch of either 45s, because this one has powerful enough motor. You can stack up about 10 45s, or about 4 to 5 12-inch records, and you know that's enough listening. Um, and I like the automatic feature. Um, you know, always had. Uh, so yeah, you know, it's I, and you know, it's funny you talk about somebody mentioned about they're releasing new things on vinyl, and yes, we have a store called Second and Charles around here, um, and they of course they have used their whole deal's used, but they do have new stuff, and it's kind of funny. There's even new pressings of like what's funny is like what's now classic hip hop and stuff on vinyl, which is weird for me to see because I just not a huge like gangster rap or hip hop fan, but of course, you know, uh, you know, I was growing up, heard it and other people, and I only ever saw that stuff on CD, you know, and rarely on cassette. So it's weird to me, it's weird to see, you know, like Tupac California Love on vinyl. You know what I mean? You know, as a single or whatever, or whatever. Um, or you know, or Snoop Dogg's Gin and Juice or something, you know, on vinyl. It's just weird for me to see something like that, for example, you know. But like, I did buy something new here, Greta Van Fleet. I kind of like their stuff. I like what they're doing, and so I bought their first album. I need to buy their second, but and I'll probably buy it on vinyl. But you know, honestly, I haven't bought music in 20 years, maybe, or well, not 20 years, probably, yeah, probably going on 20 years, I guess, because most of it's all been downloaded, MP3s and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, so you know, leave me a comment. You know, if you think maybe that'd make a good YouTube project to film for YouTube. Um, you know, I'm gonna. It's mostly gonna be about the refinishing of the wood. You know, stripping the old finish that's on there, which is flaking off. And I think somebody actually tried to refinish it once before and did kind of a crummy job. And then there might have been some water damage to the speaker grills. You know, it's got that fabric stuff on it, and there's kind of some staining. And I there's an outfit that reproduces that stuff, so I can get something pretty darn close. It's pricey, but I'm gonna do it. Just you know, just cause. Because I've never been out. I don't always use a record player, but I've never been without a record player. So, um, you know, it's kind of my thing, you know. But I'm not an audiophile. Um, as long as it sounds pretty good. I like the skip. Well, not the skips, but I like the pops and the little bit of hiss at times. The imperfections kind of add a little to it. Um, I know there's the debate on whatever sample rates and stuff from digital to vinyl and all that, and that our ears can't perceive it. But the imperfections, like some of this stuff that's like I said, especially from my parents' collections. So there's Beatles to and even some like early country, so Hank Williams and things like that. But like Beatles records and Led Zeppelin and the Hollies, Tommy James and the Shonadels and things like that are just they're almost, I wouldn't say they're worn out, but you can tell they're worn. You put it on there and it starts, and it's just, that's the only way I've ever. And the funny thing is, I grew up on that, and on, like, for example, a notable record is Peter Frampton. Peter Frampton Comes Alive. That album, it's a 2 disc. You open it up and it's him with his guitar from the concert, and of course, Do You Feel Like We Do? Of course, overplayed on the radio. It's kind of too bad, but I hear it on the radio, and of course that's the cut down version, because that's a 14-minute long song. There's only 2 songs on that side. There's oh, I must be out here long enough. My timer for the lights went off. Anyway, yeah, well, I guess you're just going to listen to me. But anyway, back on topic. I forget. I think it's like I'll Give You Money is like a little 2-minute song. And yeah, it's a podcast. And then there's Do You Feel Like We Do? And it's just 2 songs. But it's funny, the first song, I think, I'll Give You Money. Obviously, my mom, because it was my mom's record, skipped over that song on that side more often than not, because it sounds almost perfect. But then when it gets to Do You Feel Like We Do, there's a little bit of a skip at the beginning as the crowd goes, yeah, going up. There's a pop, and then it gets into it, and then it, and it's just a little scratchy and a little, like, little fluttery, just ever so slightly. But I tell you what, I used to go to sleep to that song a lot because I'd stack up records and when I was young, and and anyway, it's just hearing those little just that little flutter and everything, and then I hear it on the radio, or I hear it, or I have the MP3 or whatever, and it's the crispness and the pop and whatever isn't there. It's almost jarring in my brain. It's almost jarring because my first time hearing that song over and over was off that vinyl that had those imperfections in there. So it just, I don't know, it gives me the nostalgia giggles over it. But there's also same with 8-tracks, and 8-tracks. Ugh. I mean, yeah, Beatles' Abbey Road I listen to over and over and over, and there's hisses and pops come together. I can't not hear it without the clunk of the track change right before it. But then Led Zeppelin 4 I listen to a lot on 8-track, and of course Stairway to Heaven spans 2 tracks, so it fades out, and then you hear clunk, and then it fades in. So it's like every time it gets to where the fade is, like on the radio or something, I'm waiting for it. and then it's not there, you know. And I haven't listened to that 8 track since I was like 9, or something like that, or 10, whatever. Uh, can you throw some, Katie? Actually, if Katie, my moderator, maybe she can go hit the lights again for me because the timer went off. Can you hit the timer? I guess I've been long enough. I have a timer on these lights, so it goes dusk for like, I don't know, 2 hours or whatever. So we're um, but okay, there we go. She hit. Okay, podcast is over. But yeah, getting back. I hadn't actually thought about the vinyl. I hadn't really thought about the whole vinyl record and analog. The analog part and that, and what you remember with that, and especially how that just that sound, like the Beatles albums. Like, I remember myself playing the White Album over and over. I'd stack up all 4 of those on one side, and then when they all played through, then I'd just grab the stack as like a sandwich, flip it over, and then listen to them all the way through. You know, and the funny part is I need to do that again, because a lot of those songs and stuff you just don't. I mean, I'm not listening to the right stations probably, but you there's a lot of B-side stuff that didn't get a lot of radio play. Um, Obviously, with that kind of stuff. I mean, and that's another deal. I'm not a huge music aficionado. I mean, I know what I like, and it's pretty diverse. But I'd say it's mostly well within the what you call the classic rock. Um, oh yeah, being from Austria, B side just means uh, that comes from 45s or singles. You had the A side, which was which was the song. It's the song okay, is basically that's the song that made the money, and then the B side was the song that was like just maybe a throwaway song, or just not as well. In this day and age, it'll be the song that is not as well known because it didn't get the air radio play, for example. Um, so let me give a for example. Yeah, I mean, I think you got it, but a for example would be like uh, the band Free. Everybody knows All Right Now. That's the A side. But on the B side of that record, if I'm not mistaken, is like some song you've never. Well, I can't even remember now. I'd have to go look at it. A song you'd never heard of. So, and with albums, of course, 12-inch records where you're going to have 4 to 5 songs across the record, or more, depending on if they're short songs. There's I mean, those are arranged differently, but you usually have one side that has more of the radio play or the hit stuff, and then the other side's usually some of the lesser known stuff. And that's the thing. Like I said, I'm not a huge music buff, but like I said, I know what I like, and and maybe it's just because of all the on-demand, the radio, Pandora, the Spotify, and everything. Just that usually they don't have it in their catalog, or it doesn't come up because, like I said, it wasn't what the popular or highly rated song is. So, for example, like I again, it's not my favorite band in the world, but it is one of my bands that I like to listen to, is ZZ Top. Okay, everybody knows I don't like these songs, but everybody knows, Got Me Under Pressure. We got, Legs. We got, Tush. We got I mean, they got a lot of songs that are good that people know that get played, but then there's a lot. Then there's things like TV dinners, I Need You Tonight. Um, well, those are just two that are coming up that if I played them, you probably have never heard them. You know, the average person probably has never heard them unless you're, unless you listen. How there's a radio station that's doing like a deep cut or something like that, because those were like not. Well, the reason why they're not they don't have the ZZ Top sound. They're more experimental stuff. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, radio. What's that? Hell, I don't know. That's almost. I mean, yes, I listen to music through YouTube or some other streaming app, but my cars aren't fancy enough to have that kind of stuff. So yeah, I ever listen to the radio quite a lot. Actually, it's kind of funny. I don't listen to a lot of songs on the radio, but growing up I did, of course. But when I'm in the car and the radio's on, it's usually tuned to some sort of AM station. I listen to talk radio, and then I listen to all my music on the phone. I think that's probably what everybody else. But I don't listen to like news podcasts and all that stuff. I mean, I don't really listen to podcasts at all. It's just a form that I I just haven't gotten into. You know, I know there's some good stuff out there, and anybody can make a podcast. I probably should make a podcast, but just because I can. But it's just I don't know. I'd rather, if I'm going to sit and stream something, I'd rather it be video where it's semi-interactive or something like this, where it is interactive. Even if it was with a big YouTuber who the chat's just going, there's too many people watching that they can comment on everybody, but get to talking in the chat with amongst yourselves. I mean, whereas you people watching live here are a small group. This video is gonna maybe break 200 views, so okay, another 200 people might see it, but they're not gonna see it all the way to the end. Yeah, podcast. Well, I tell you what, I take that back. I do sometimes listen to some just podcast-like stuff on YouTube in the shop. I'm not watching, but I'm listening. But I don't use actual podcasting apps, or I don't go to SoundCloud. I don't have an iTunes. I don't go to iHeart. I don't go to wherever you find good podcasts. I don't go there. If it's not on YouTube, I don't know it. I don't know it exists, kind of thing. Yeah, Furworks said it right good. Yeah, never listen to podcasts, but I listen to YouTube videos, and actually can't like your stuff. I actually watch your stuff, but when I can't watch, I will have it running in the background when you're talking, and just listen to it. So uh, TED Talks are yeah. Now I'll listen to a TED Talk on YouTube, depending on what it's on. I Joe Rogan's. Okay. I don't. Okay. I don't want to talk about politics here, but I feel I need to here. I don't listen or watch much about politics stuff or political stuff. I do listen to it and stuff, but not through podcasts or anything. I listen to like talk radio for that kind of stuff, but I don't watch a lot of. I don't follow that kind of stuff. I don't. It's toxic. Let's just put it this way. I have my ideals and everything, and I think and my viewpoints and stuff, and I think you guys can probably figure it out that I'm where I would stand, but I don't like talking about it. That's not what my channel's for, and I don't feed that. I'm not constantly feed that in my brain. I want to feed my brain content that stimulate, like TED Talks, something stimulating to think about. I like to watch videos where I can learn something or be inspired, or just like we were talking about, gosh, an hour ago now, the 8-bit guy. I don't even desire to mess with vintage computing, but it's informative. I like his videography. I like his style and stuff when it comes to that. That's the kind of stuff that I like to feed into my brain. And political stuff it's just fights, and I think that's a lot of people. But uh, I but like I said, I keep up. I keep up enough that I know what's going on. I know who's doing what and who's not doing what, and all that kind of stuff. And I just keep that to myself, because you know we just had Independence Day, 4th of July. Thank God I live in a country where I can think and do as I please, and don't tread on me. You do you, I do me. Kind of thing. So that's where I stand on that, and that's why I don't get into the podcast, because it seems like most podcasts that rise to the top, that are, if you go some, how do you find good podcasts for the stuff I like to watch? I just don't know where that is. And that's why maybe that's my biasy against podcasts is, well, they're all just political in some way, if not ramming it down your throat, but they're just wanting to talk about what's happening now, kind of thing. I want to learn something. I want something that's mentally stimulating, about thinking about physics or science or engineering, or even if I'm not going to do it, stuff like that. So maybe uh, uh, so maybe I just need, and you guys are recommending some in the chat. Maybe I just need to give a few a try. Um, so, but anyway, yeah, tested. Well, yes, I listen. No, I do listen to the Tested podcast, but I listen to it on YouTube. Um, but but that's a huge but. Sometimes they dive into more technology and pop culture, movie stuff that I just, I just don't have any interest in. And the Adam Savage's little 30-minute deal, 30-minute to an hour deal that he does is still untitled. They get too much into that cosplay and movie and actor and name drop stuff, and I can't connect with it. So it's cool that he's into that, but like, I don't know half this people, actors, or even, I mean, they can talk about prop masters and all that stuff, and that's kind of cool. But when they get into, like, when they get oogling and ogling over some futuristic weapon out of Blade Runner or whatever, I just, that's not my thing. So, yeah, Tested I do listen to here and there, but it's not in a regular rotation. But, well, we're creeping up on 2 hours here, and I think my battery's a bit going, so I better probably cut this short here. I thank you guys watching. You guys are sticking in here. Yeah, I'll comment on that. Adam is doing an interest. Yeah, that's on that spacesuit deal, and that's piqued my interest just a little bit, but I'm not into that space stuff as much. But I do like the whole making aspect of it. And I am following that. So anyway, thank you guys for popping in. Thanks for to get the back and the forth. And I don't like to do all the talking. And Simone Garrett's Truckla. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about her. She lets her politics out a little bit too much, and that kind of turns me off from some of her stuff. But yes, I think that video went pretty viral. Yeah, so I watched some of it, but some of it. But yeah, like I said, Adam keeps his liberal politics at least a little on the DL for his videos, whereas she kind of has to get a jab in there somewhere. It's like, come on, just But just talk about what you love about making. Don't talk about how you hate this country or whatever. Anyway, I shouldn't probably say that. I'll get demonetized and all that, or somebody will get their panties in a ruffle. So we better quit talking about that. I'm letting on too much, maybe. All right, I'm gonna cut this short. Thank you guys for watching. We'll do this again another time. Maybe I should make this a regular thing. Leave a comment below if you think I should do this more often. I just don't think about doing it, to be honest. But if you like doing this, I could do this nightly if I wanted to. I just don't know if I'd run out of things to say. So, all right. Thank you, guys.